How's practice going this week, Coach?
It was good. Quarterbacks had a good week of practice for the 3 days. And they're pretty fresh for whatever reason. Maybe it was just because fall camp is over and all that sort of stuff, and then we didn't play on Saturday. But I think myself and Coach Walters was pleased with their work this week.
It's the first time you've seen them sort of pared down into a game plan and working with a game plan through the week. How have you liked the way that they've performed with a little bit less of the playbook each of them?
It was really good, particularly with regards to their, they take a game test, and they all did really well on their game test with all the situation and contingency officer questions, and they got to drop all the pass plays and all that business. But they really did a nice job. Yeah. And then, as you know, we got to apply it to the field. Now, that's the most important thing.
Watching Adrian just go through warm-ups, what was your sense? How ready was he for that moment? You gave him the first play call, and then you had to obviously pull the plug at that point. But
he was probably more relaxed than I was, I think. He felt really good. He did. And then obviously what happened. Then when I got a chance to talk to him on Monday, we were talking about looking forward to Colorado and how he felt and so on and so forth. And I think he feels even more relaxed because he's kind of got that all out of the way, the hotel business and what we do pregame and what we do in the hotel and all that sort of stuff. So I think he even feels more relaxed this week, but we'll find out. We'll see.
Now, does your game plan change a lot this week, or how much similarities can you have with two different opponents?
Well, we looked at some of the stuff if there was any carryover, because that's always good if you can, because they've already had that learning. So there were some things we could use and some things we just couldn't. So we basically started from scratch.
Does Colorado provide something of a similar look to what you went against with your defense here?
Yeah, great point. Yeah, they're very similar. They're a 3-4 team, and then when you get in long yardage situations, they'll get in nickel and all those sorts of things, and they'll bring pressure and so some different things in the back end in terms of coverage. But yeah, very similar. Yep.
What was the atmosphere for you going through just the beginning? What was that like for you, kind of taking that in, the tunnel walk and the pregame?
Well, I'm upstairs, but it was awesome, man. I mean, that was wild. I mean, even coming from the hotel and all the fans and just everything about Nebraska football was just absolutely amazing, right? And so, yeah, for me, it was pretty awesome.
A couple weeks in now, how is Andrew handling
good?
Regular reps?
Yeah, and he's getting better. He's performing with that same enthusiasm he had before the decision was made and all that sort of business. So he's doing really well. He's doing really good. I'm pleased with his effort and his performance in practice. Does he miss a few things? Yeah, but he'll be fine. Yep.
You've kind of put more on Matt Masker now, too, in the last couple of weeks. How's he handled it?
Really good, really well. And he did a nice job on his game test, which kind of caught him a little bit by surprise, in the sense that he wasn't sure if that was even going to happen. I mean, he knew it was going to happen, but there's a little bit difference of performance when he's in the situation he is now. But he did really well on that.
What's the timeline on those game tests? Is that like a Thursday thing?
They usually, it just depends. It'll vary. Because we had a late game, they were able to be more relaxed with it on Friday. I was able to check it early Saturday morning, get everything back to them, and then they got it back. Otherwise, it could be they get it one day and they got to bring it back to me complete the next day.
What's the value of it for you? I mean, is it you see something that maybe they're not understanding or something that they're missing and you know that you can move that out of the game plan? Or you reinforce sort of what they need to know?
A couple things. There's some things that they have to know every week with regards to, say, for example, in 2 minutes, the things that stop the clock, and all those sorts of things. Those are things that they just have to know, and I want to know if they know them every week. And then when they're drawing up the pass play, usually how a guy draws up a pass play is how he sees it in his head. You know what I'm saying? So if he's drawing a 5-yard route at 2 yards, there's an issue. But just to make certain that they build that library in their brain of drawing routes where their eyes belong, because all that stuff is tested, what their drop mechanics are and all of that sort of stuff. So it provides the information. For me, if all the guys have a problem with drawing up one particular pass play, okay, what's the issue? Maybe I explained it wrong or there's some issue with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a diagnostic. foremost for me. Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious, growing up,
Yeah.
coaching in the Midwest all these years, did you
Yeah.
ever watch Nebraska, Colorado? Did that ever come up on your radar?
Oh, well, particularly when I was a young guy, you know, and that was, I mean, it was a heated rivalry, right? And this is my first experience with it, but even since gotten to the Big Ten, it's still a heated rivalry anytime you guys played, right? So it'll be fascinating. There's a little bit of extra flavor with it because, you know, Coach Walter's a head coach there with Coach McIntyre, so it's going to be wild. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, man.